Not quite sure what that music was at the end there, like a double. Well, it kind of sounded like a horse plodding along. At least it had that effect. But well, Tom, we've gone from basically little to no information available on English races to the hieroglyphics that are available in Australian races to just a bunch of jumbled numbers on Hong Kongian races. So we're going to do Hong Kong, and this says it's Sunday, October 10th at 4:05 p.m. Shay time, whatever that is, probably Hong Kong time. I have absolutely zero idea when these races will be running on Central or Eastern time. So help me out with that.
About midnight, 11 p.m. midnight they start, and they'll be done at around 5 a.m.
Oh, that's good. So that's if you really have some insomnia, you can stay up.
Perfect insomnia racing, yes.
Or if you're out late racing. So that's going to be not tonight, but tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Or tomorrow morning. So Saturday into Sunday U.S. time, not Friday into Saturday. Okay,
yes. Perfect. It's 13 hours difference.
That's it?
Yeah.
So it's like flying to England twice.
Essentially, yes.
All right. So I have at least an idea how that works out now. I know my little brother flies over to China all the time for work. He's one of those pilots that flies like merchandise all around the world. Basically, gets the plane off the ground, puts it in autopilot, and then lands it when he gets there. It's babysitting a big hunk of metal in the sky for 13 hours or however long it takes to fly. Any case, we're going to go to Hong Kong, and I'm not even sure. Is it Hong Kong? Is that the name of the racetrack, or what's the name of the track?
No, there's two racetracks in Hong Kong. There's one called Happy Valley, which I've actually been to.
Penn State fans, apparently.
It was started in 1883. And of course, the Chinese weren't allowed on the racetrack. It was only the British until many years later.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the original. And that one is right around apartment buildings. And if you've ever seen pictures of it, it's pretty wild. And the other track they built in the 70s, which is Châtillon, which is the one we're doing. And that is a much newer, much more.
Was that built by the French?
No, it's local. British and whatever. But the Hong Kong racing can be some of the most challenging in the world to handicap because almost every field is 14 horses,
And you don't know what you're looking at in the past performances. That makes it just as challenging.
There is a lot of information because they give you the vet reports. They give you whether the horse has been swimming or how it's been working out. I mean, there's just a plethora of information, and you really got to sort through it and try to get some idea. And I've just hit the highlights basically, and whenever I play it, and I've done okay occasionally, and then I've stunk the place up at times. So
yeah, it sounds like a typical horse player, no matter what track you're at.
Yeah, it really is. And the pools are huge.
No, that's nice to know. Well, to me, that's the big key to horse racing is understanding the money pools, because if you're going to win, you want to have a maximum payout. The bigger the money pool is, I mean, handicapping, picking horses, all the same. Some people have fortune picking names. Others have fortune with particular styles. For me, when we do these international stuff, I apply the keep it simple, stupid, emphasis on the stupid for me part. And I just look at some very basic things. So looking at these races, I've essentially focused on the two races that are on all weather, recent form and form on all weather tracks. And the third race, which is on turf, recent form and turf form. I kept it really, really, really simple so that even I can understand sort of what I was looking at. One thing I did like, it looked to me like in the program that you sent me, Tom, they had the quarters for every horse that they ran, which I find to be kind of helpful, because if you can get a sense that they're going to close, you might want the horses that have a little bit faster closing fractions. If you like the horses that are fast, maybe you're looking at the early fractions. I think that's something we could benefit from here too.
Well, and the other piece of it is if you see a fractional time in between different markers, that's much faster than that horse has ever gone. I did find one of these horses that I chose here went 21 and change, and then slowed down to 23 to finish. So they made a move with it, but it didn't get there. So now question is fitness. did that help get the horse getting better fit?
Or maybe a little better timing from the jockey when
Yeah.
you run that 21 too. So there's a couple different ways you can look at that. All right, so we're going to start with the Shane Fu handicap. Is that right? I mean,
it's close.
Good enough for me,
Doing
right?
the best you can. Yeah,
I am
you
indeed.
You don't pronounce the T in Chinese.
So it's Swain Fu?
Yeah.
Swain Fu. All right, good. So now I'm fluent in Chinese. I'm glad to hear that.
Absolutely.
So 1,650 meters. I didn't break out my trusty abacus to figure out how many miles that is. So I'll leave that up to you. What's this? $1.57 million. I don't know if is that dollars? Is it dollars or Chinese?
Yeah, the biggest race that we're doing today will be a $300,000 race. So these all are about $100,000 roughly.
Okay, fantastic. So this is a class 3 race.
It's good money. I mean, they're not running for chump change over there.
Mm-hmm. So a class 3, that's the equivalent of our grade 3?
No. Class 3 would be like optional claimers, let's say around 50 to 65, 62.5, that area of the range. Allowance, probably non-winners of 3, maybe.
All right.
That kind of track. So you're looking at good horses, but not, they're not class 5s. They're not, these are halfway decent horses, and there's a rating on each of them they give, and you see that under the ratings. The first top one is 74.
Mm-hmm. Plus minus 1.
They're all
so really 73.
Yeah. So they're all in there, and the bottom last horse has the worst rating.
All right, so I have a question for you. On the weight, it's 132 plus 3. Why not just put it 135?
Because of the way they do their weights.
Well, I mean, here you have 128 plus 11. I mean, it just seems to me that why not just put down what the weight is? Because it doesn't look like there's a set base that they're adding or subtracting from.
Yeah, I'd have to pull the information out. I don't 100% remember on that, but they are weighted by their ratings. So, and obviously, more you win, more. And then equipment, you get a lot of detail in equipment. This one, the top one has blinkers, hood, and tongue tie.
Just in case he's got something to say. Yeah.
All
right, so let's take a look at this race, Tom. It is like I said, 1,650 meters. Looks to me like it starts and then ends on the backstretch. Is that right?
No, that's where the finishing post is. That's
where the stands are.
Yeah, it's a stand side. And actually, this is kind of misleading because we're on the all weather, which is inside the turf course. The turf course has chutes and the whole bit, so there's straightaway racing and lots of different other types of racing. With all weather there, generally they've said, the horses are a little lesser, but I've not found that to be the case. But what I did find in the past is that U.S.-based sires or horses that are coming out of here tend to do better on the all weather.
Okay, I can understand that. So let's look at the field, Tom. Why don't you tell me who you like and why you like them? And then, I told you how I handicap, so I'll just tell you my picks and then go ahead and fire away. Who you like in this first one?
I took number 13, Party Every Day, which has draw 8. First start was okay at this level, but it was at a little shorter distance. I think this is a better suited distance for this horse. Had issues in the race. It was bumped, checked once, so it didn't have the cleanest of trips. It has, of this field, it has one of the best records on the all-weather. It has 13 starts, 3 wins, 5 seconds, and 1/3. It also is good at this distance, which if you look at the results on the all-weather side, you also see 11 starts, 3 wins, 5 seconds, and 1/3. So, yeah, at this distance, it likes. It has a very low rating.
The lowest in the field, so I don't know what that means in odds, but it's 118 minus 15, so it's 103.
Yeah, so it's not the highest rated horse in this race, but it's far from. But to me, it has form. It looks like it's going to be very competitive in this group, and it certainly fits with this class. And to give you an idea, the next horse I picked was number 3, Ultra Express, who has draw 10. Moving up from its last race, so it's going from a 60-40 to an 80-60. That has to do with their ratings. All races have been on turf, and I say but, because it's working only on all weather, which kind of interesting. And so it has no experience on the racing on it, but it does work on it. It does have the top jock in Hong Kong, which is Joao Murillo. I always pronounce that wrong.
That's all right.
Yeah, him and Zach Pruitt are the two, probably the two top riders in there. When he's been on this horse, he's got 3 starts. He has 2 wins and 1 second. Hasn't, it'll be a first start since June, but the works look very nice. My final choice is number 6, and this is Chan Ching Prince, draw number 13. Yes, I hate the draw. Wide draw, had wide draw last time, had no cover, and basically, my comment was, it crapped out in the stretch. Well, watching the race, yes, he did. He only had 1 win from 10 starts, and they're switching him to the all-weather. It'll be interesting because the works from its barrier races are been on both turf and all-weather. So they kind of don't know what to do with this horse. And I threw him in because of the odds. Don't like the draw again, but if it gets some cover and a little better trip, I think it can be up for some money.
How do we know what the odds even are? I don't see him anywhere.
They're not. We'd have to pull them off the
off the track site or something.
Off the other charts, and we don't have that information's not posted on this one.
All right. So for me, surprisingly, I don't know how this worked out because I have no idea what your picks were in advance. I put the 13 on top. Again, very simple handicapping, recent form, and how they run on all-weather track. I felt like a party every day, had recent form, and looks like it runs well on tracks. I didn't realize it was the lowest rated horse in the field. It's probably going to be the longest odds. I don't know though, because like I said, it's 103 something in terms of weight, whereas the heaviest horse in the field is 139. So it's going to have a 36 something or another weight stone, however they do their weightings over there, weight advantage. So that could be the difference. I like number 11 as my second pick, Right Honorable. He looks like another very well-rated horse at 66, third from the bottom. And he's 124 plus 5, but somehow he has a lower rating than the 10 horse, but yet carrying more. I don't know how that works. I also agree with you. I took number 3, Ultra Express. And then finally, my last pick was number 5, True Legend, who looks like it's going to carry the most, whatever it is they're carrying. 127 plus 12, another horse that looks good on all weather, looks like it's in good form.
That's why it gets the penalties.
And if based upon their rankings, if I'm right on these 3, or 3 out of 4, it might be a good payout because it looks to me like they all might be decent odds. So I can be a good odds maker. We found out in the United States. I can be a good odds maker in France. I could be a good odds maker in England and maybe even in Australia. But it looks like I'm way off the board in Hong Kong.
Yeah, but on the other hand, you can be way off the board and still have some nice plays in this bunch.
Well, hopefully that's the case for both of us because it looks like we're both at the bottom end of the class scale. Yeah. The next race is the Sun Lok. Hopefully they pronounced everything. I got the first part right because I remember you don't pronounce the T. But I always wondered why, if you don't pronounce the letter, why do they even put it in there, even in English? What's the point of having a silent letter in there? Just take it out.
Because.
Just to screw you up, right? That's it.
Yeah. Again, this is on the all-weather. We're going 1,200 meters, which would be 6 furlongs. And this is a little over $300,000 purse in U.S. money. And these are Class 2 horses. So we've gone from Class 3. We're going up one, a little bit of a rank, and you can see the ratings on there, 105 to 80. So the bottom being 80 on the last one. I mean, the top on the last group of horses. Now we're going to see horses rated 80 or higher.
And I see here that you have the standard time. So that would be our equivalent of a par time. And then The record time. So I have a little bit better understanding now. Maybe I can, next time we do Hong Kong, look back at the standard time and par times and then kind of rank them based upon their times. So you can do that sort of time or trip handicapping. All right, Tom. So who do you like in the TSUEN Loc handicap?
I took number 4, Silver Fig, who has draw 6. Hasn't raced since May, and at that time, the vet report said that he was scoped, and they found some issues with that, so that's why he's been off. Only 3 runs last season, and 2 of them were wins at this distance. He can win off a layoff. He's done it before, and he did it last season, and he's done it 2 times prior to it, so he's can lay off and come in, and because he's had breaks, I kind of like that angle. He has 1 win at this level from 2 starts, so he's been in this class 2 group, and he's done okay. His work, I like his 1 barrier race, which was 1:09. There's a nice run on the all-weather. He also runs late, and I think there's a ton of speed in this race, and so I like that. And he gets 12 pounds to the top-rated horse, which if the speed is going to hold up, that's one thing. But if it doesn't, then he's going to be flying at the end. And if he's got any form and fitness, he should be right around that money.
All right.
Number 10, Flying Bonus, which has draw 5. It was a winner last out and since July, but had problems. The race was not great. He is a speed demon. He is one of the front runners without question, and he won by last time by 2 1/4 lengths, making all the calls. He is moving up, so he's coming from an 80-60 race up to the 105-80. He has a rating of 81 now, which puts him up to the next group. He gets 20 pounds from the top horse, and they put an apprentice up. So they went from one of the top jocks there to an apprentice to get all that weight off. So if the speed can hold and this horse can do it, then it's certainly the weight-wise, it shouldn't be an issue. I liked its fast time of 108.27. It looked really decent time, and he had a split of 21.88, which is quite nice.
It looks like those numbers are right on the standard time.
Yeah, and I think if he gets the trip, he's got a great chance. But this is one where I like to watch the board a little and see whether the bettors are interested in this horse, or they just.
So you're going to be up at 4 in the morning. If you handicap him, you might as well, right? I mean,
never know. You've seen when my emails come in, so.
Oh, yes, they do at all hours in the morning. I'm like, man, Tom is a little more wild than he looks on TV.
I mean, I picked number 2, Red Desert, which has draw 4. Its last efforts were not great, and so it needed the layoff. 10th, 6th, and 10th. But it won.
Like my pick 4 picks the other day.
Yeah, it won off a layoff before, and only out of 4 tries. So it has won, and this will be definitely a price. He'll sit behind the speed, which if the speed is what I think it's going to be, that may be a great position to be in. He's got an okay record on the all weather. He's got 14 starts with 3 wins, and they're all at this distance. At this distance running, he's got 9 starts, 3 wins, which corresponds with his best speed on the all weather, 1 second and 3/3. So that's not so bad.
Workable.
7 times in the money out of 9. I wouldn't complain. And I liked it's some of its works on the all weather, and I also liked it's one of its barrier races. So that's why I put it in there.
Yes, paying the bills. Well, for me, Tom, we're at Hong Kong. My first time at Hong Kong, at least virtually, telepathically. So I went with a Hong Kong Great. I think that's, and it looks like this horse is going to be carrying somebody my size, 130. Well, I'm much bigger than that. It's like half of me, 133 plus 14. So that's my left and right leg. And then I have Flying Bonus to 10 horse too. So we both agree that Flying Bonus is going to come in second. So the play here is all Flying Bonus, all on the trifecta. I have number 9. That is Sarzan. That's a 113 -6. Got an 81 rating. It looks like it can do all right. Again, all my picks are based upon current form and their form on all weather tracks. And then, it worked for us before when we first started at a new track. When we would go Bears go, we're both Chicago wins, at least for now, until they chase us out of here like they've done everybody else, including the Bears. I went with Bear Slam, number 8, which is minus 113 -20. I mean, that thing is just going to have a scarecrow on its back. Never mind a human being. That's how I rank them for that race, Tom.
And if people take a look at the ratings here, you can see the top horse is 102, which is just out of sight by comparison.
Plus 14.
The next nearest horse,
uh-huh.
And he's getting the penalty.
It's going to carry what, 147, whatever. What do they use, pounds over there?
Yeah, pounds for weight.
147 pounds. Oh man, you could put half the. But I think that's the average weight of guys that are like 5'7", 5'8", 5'9", somewhere in there. So you can even put like a pudgy American jockey.
As I said, I'll get we'll do Hong Kong again. I'll get that weight stuff straightened out because I am a little confused by it myself. But,
yeah, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. 133 plus 14. Okay, so was that it? All right. Anyway, the last race is every letter here pronunciated.
We got two more.
Oh, 2 more. I only had 1 more. So okay.
All right. Well, I did I was doing 7, 8, 9, and 10.
But I think
two all weather and 2 turf races, and you get some idea by the picture here on the turf racing. You see the chutes. Of course, we're only going 1,200 in this race, but the turf course is a nice, challenging course, and draws is important in this bunch.
All right, so I'm going to have picks in this one, but I won't have picks in the next one. So
that's okay.
It's all right. I mean, you know what? I figured 3 is enough from the first time around. Any more than that, I'm stressing myself. So who do you like again, my handicapping is going to be, instead of all weather, turf form and recent form.
Okay, right now the track is rated as good. So I'm going on that at this point. Number 6, Gluck Racer, who has draw 11. First start back was a winning effort at Cha-Tin. At this distance, got 5 starts, 3 wins, and 1/3. He should be close to the pace, but he sometimes likes to get himself in trouble, and he's done it more than once. He's his second start at this class level. Remember, he won, so he moved from the 60-40 up to this level just 2 races ago. So he's getting 130 pounds. So they added 9 pounds penalty from his win last time out.
Mm-hmm.
So if this horse is retaining form and can handle that weight, I think it's got a great chance. Number 3, High Rise Soldiers, my next pick. Really tough trip last time out. When they straightened away, he had some contact with the leaders, and then he went. Got the top jock. Can't complain about that. That is a switch. Win record is not good, but likes to finish in the money. Well, that's what I'm looking forward to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so based on his lifetime record, 32 runs, has 3 wins, 7 seconds, and 3/3. So not awful.
No, not that bad.
A little less, about 40%, which is what I'm looking for. Number 10, Silvestri, draw 8. First race is Cha-Tin. The pace and the finish is okay. Now this is one of the foreign horses coming in. That it has a race now over the track. Finished with 1 pace. I mean, that's the only way to describe it. It wasn't going forward. It wasn't going backwards, but it wasn't really.
It just was.
Yeah, it looked like it needed a race, if nothing else. I mean, it broke. It drew the inside and broke well. So really, it's for a first-time run at Hong Kong. This is a pretty good effort, I think. Before coming to Hong Kong, it raced 4 times, has 1 win, and I think it just needed the race, and that's why I'm throwing it in there. I think it's got a nice chance with this bunch.
For me, Tom, strangely enough, my picks go 6, so I agree with you on the Gluck Racer was my top choice. Number 3 was my second choice, High Rise Soldier. And again, I didn't even look at your picks, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But then I'm a little bit, I go down the sheet a little bit to number 13, California Sybil. That's how they pronounce that. Gets 122 plus 6, 65 plus 2. That's my third pick. And then finally, I have number 8, Lifetime Vision, another horse that's 69 minus 1, 126 plus 3. I have no idea who the jockey is, who the trainer is, or any of the above. But according to the way I looked at things, they're the 4 best horses in terms of current form and form on turf. Now, I didn't do the next race, so I'm guessing that the next race is race number 10. And we're going in numerical order. All right. So race number 10, let's bring this one up, is the Wotick Handicap.
Yep.
So this one is same distance as the last one, a little bit longer than the last one.
This is we're going 7 furlongs in this one.
All right. So yes, divided by 200. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. And again, we're on, as you can see, we're just at the top of the turn they're not quite in that chute yet so obviously longer races in the chute. On the turf, and again, it's good, rated as good. I picked number 2, Master Delight, was draw 12, in my top choice. He really had a good try last out, running third in his debut at Hong Kong. I like that. He challenged at about the 500-meter mark and really was no match for the winner. But I think that's short of form as much as anything else. Yes, I think this is a horse that needed a race, without question. He's a winner in Australia. But he's always been competitive in the 5 races he's been in. So he's been in the top. He's within the first 5, either 5 or higher finishes in all his races. So competitive horse, obviously a good reason to buy a horse like this, because you're going to get something. The horse is going to give you something.
It's going to give you good effort to pay his bills.
He's got, interestingly enough, being a foreign horse coming in, he got a 78 rating, which to me is pretty high. So his form in Australia is probably a little better than what's on paper, and that's the way the handicappers are viewing it. So, and I do, again, that first out at Hong Kong, and it got positive, and some of the write-ups were very positive about it. If you wanted to, you can click on the horse, number 2, and it'll give you more information on this horse.
On Master Delight.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what happens when we click on Master Delight. It's a little bit of interactive YouTube-ness going on.
Your internet will crash, right?
It might crash. That's a long story. It has nothing to do with it has everything to do with AT&T has been just absolutely wonderful to me today, trying to deal with them. Maybe I can use whatever little bit of influence we have on YouTube to shame them into actually doing what they're supposed to do. But anyway,
this gives you the basics. They're on the right. You give your workouts and also your barrier trials. Obviously, it's not going to have a lot of those but if you look in some of the detail there, it'll talk about swimming and it'll talk about jogged or galloped or however they work the horse in the morning. So
reverse cantering, does that mean it ran backwards?
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah. Well, clockwise, counterclockwise.
So not backpedaling.
No.
All right. And that would be an interesting way to train a horse, backpedaling, I would think.
And I looked at the comment here and it said encouraging debut. And when I watched the race, I agree. I think it ran a really nice race. And again, that they bought it because it's a competitive horse. And I think it says a lot whenever you're looking at a horse like this. I took number 12, Charjan, who has drawn 9, is my next choice. Didn't do really anything in the last race. Had the rail. It was an even race. I think it just got behind horses and decided, I'm going to wait till another day.
It's not my day.
He's run second at this distance, and he had some other races that were and this is one of those horses I think needed a race. He's run once from a layoff on 3 layoffs. He drops to a distance I think is better for him at 1,400. 5 starts at this distance. He has 2 wins at Châtain. And I threw him in there. I think he's got a chance.
Mm-hmm.
My final choice was Medium Genius, has draw 1.
Number 11 here.
Even last race I was there for a long way off. It ran fifth and it had issues in that race. Needed a race. The works are good. The race was not as good as it could have been. He's run at this level. He's going to be a big price. He has a third finish, losing by a neck. It's just a matter of he gets the trip. And I think that's the key on this horse. Yes, I think you'll see some numbers on this horse. I would be very surprised if it goes off at short odds.
I'm going to make one pick, Tom. I haven't looked at anything, but I'm just going to do it based on name and crazy theme. So if you think about speed, there's a horse racing. Right? So who gets to the line fastest? The first. Well, the fastest man on the planet is Usain Bolt. And there's a horse in here. Usain Bolt. So he must be the fastest horse in the world as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just randomly pick Usain Bolt because, damn it, he's the fastest man. He's got to be the fastest horse as well. That's great horse racing logic right there. You know it. And sometimes I feel like that works as well as anything else that I do.
Yeah, well, based on some of my picks, I would agree with you.
For sure. So any other tidbits of knowledge or experience or just things that you would pass along to somebody who's experimenting with Hong Kong for the first time? And would you suggest exactas, trifectas, vertical racing? What would you think would be the best way?
Well, they have all kinds. They have place quinella. They have all kinds of interesting bets. Now we don't get all those bets in this country, obviously, because it's based on the international pool and how they what bet types of bets they allow. Quinella is generally available. The one thing I would note is if you're watching these races, is they give you a lot of detail from the commentators on the paddock behavior of the horses and how they look. And that's something worth noting because these are people who look at these horses all the time, and they'll see them when they come out once, and then they come out looking different. They'll comment on that. The other thing is that we don't get, that they do get in Hong Kong, is the weight of the horse. So if you look at the back and the past performances, you'll see what weight it ran at. So, if it's eating well and feeling good, it may be, a little extra weight may not be a bad thing. On the other hand, for us, it's not necessarily a good thing.
I think a little bit.
The commentary, I found the commentary very useful. Sometimes, my eyesight is not so great. So to get some idea of what a horse should look like has always been a challenge to me. And, I'll look at one and go, oh, that looks really sharp and everything else. Yeah, and it misbehaves in the paddock, and then it does absolutely nothing at the racetrack. So that'll give you some idea what's going on. And again, it's very helpful, I think.
Oh, yeah. I think more information is always better. Well, although sometimes too much information is a little bit can be overwhelming because then you have paralysis by analysis. So,
well, in my case, what I'll do is if they really don't comment very favorably about the horse I may have picked, I may just say, okay, let's just pass on this race.
Next. Yes, indeed. All right, Tom. Well, that wraps up our Hong Kong experience. Hopefully it works out. I think last week we did 6 races at Longchamp, right? As you pronounce it. And I think we had the winner in 4 of them deep fields. And I think quite a few of them paid over like 10, 11, 12 bucks. So we had some good winners in there.
Pricing was actually Saturday was the short price day and much
That's
better.
why we picked Sunday.
And then, but
not like we don't know what we're doing.
We didn't have that arc winner though.
No, well, can't win them all, Tom. If I could take the winner in 75% of 2/3 of my races, I'd be happy as you can be.
Oh yeah.
I'll be happy as a fat horse. In Hong Kong. For sure. All right, Tom, that wraps it up today. If you haven't had a chance to yet, Tom missed it last night. He was scratched last night, but we had a really nice show with Scott Hazelton for TVG on the Players Edge podcast. You can catch that on our Horse Racing Radar TV channel right here on YouTube. Yes, Tom making that indication. Not that he's giving us a pointing down, like, no, I wasn't on the show. It sucked. But he's saying hit that subscribe button, hit the bell. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Racing Radar. If you like what you see on any show, give us a thumbs up, a like. It helps us move up the algorithms, which brings in more people. And maybe one day we can actually make a dime or two outside of racing. All right, Tom, I know today
that may be it, a dime or two.
a dime or two. Hey, but we do it for the love of the game, right? We're not spoiled professional athletes who need load management. We're here for the love of the game, baby.
We sure are. We like to aggravate the out of ourselves.
Yes, and everybody watching. So speaking of the love of the game, you're going to go off to a game that you love in just a little bit. You're going to go watch your Milwaukee Brewers take on the Atlanta Braves, right?
Yes, I am. I'm looking forward. For these two games coming up. Hopefully, their pitching will do as well as they've been doing, and the hitting actually starts to be a little better, because at the end of the season they were not doing so good.
Yeah, they kind of wrapped it up when they got the division. Now they need to turn it back up again. So hopefully Christian Yelich plays like Christian Yelich. The pitching staff continues to pitch, and then Tom can maybe give us his thoughts, or maybe even give us a live stream from the World Series. That would be incredibly awesome.
Hey, I'd be looking forward to that. That would be a blast.
All right, Tom. Well, hopefully we have a blast tomorrow with our picks and winners, more importantly, in Hong Kong. I'm looking forward to it. I have a little bit of beginner's luck. Last time we tried something new. Hopefully it happens again. Either way, whether it's mine or Tom's, as always, we wish you nothing but luck at the track, and may all your picks, specifically mine, find their way into the Hong Kong winner's circle.